single series. My name is Hannah Abrahams-Appiah, and I'm excited each time I get the opportunity to share with you. I have been thinking through a number of topics when it comes to young people, and one of them touches my heart greatly. Before I tell you about the topic, in case you are new to this channel, we learn lessons that help the young ones navigate the complex maze of young adulthood and late adolescence. And we learn secrets and tips to make us better and make us relevant for our lives, our society, and make God proud. Good. Back to the topic I was talking about, and that topic has to do with the word think. 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 I'm working on a new book titled You Have a Brain, Use It. Many young people suffer from consequences of their choices just because they did not sit down to think. Deep reflection and consideration of issues and options available to them. When we are young, usually we are growing into adulthood, and whether we do nothing or we do something, growth is inevitable. It's one of the things we can't do anything about. You can't stop growth. From the day you drop out of your mother's womb, you are growing until you age, and then you finish your time here on earth. But during the growth process, there are certain things that go along with the growth. As you are growing physically, we expect you to grow mentally so that you could leave the stage of depending on your family, your parents, to be independent. In that process of growth, what happens is, whilst you are leaving dependency to become independent, there are certain responsibilities that you need to take on to yourself. Now, as you are growing, because you are youthful, many times you have access to things that adulthood will not really give you. One of them is you have access to a lot of free things. You are cared for, you are provided for, you have a place to sleep, you have clothes to wear. There are few people who may not have these luxuries even from a young age. But most young people have that care. And because of that luxury of care that they receive, young ones sometimes fail to think of how these things come about. They assume once they cry, food comes. Once they are hungry and they ask, the food is prepared. But what it takes to get money, to buy the food, to prepare the food, many of these young ones don't know. What it takes to find money to pay the school fees, many people don't know. If you can think and systematically consider options from an early age, you will find out that your life will be lived more impactfully and more fruitfully. There was a young boy at a very young age who went to a rich man and asked him, "How do I make money?" That's a sign of a young one who is thinking. This boy was 12 years. And the old man was happy that this young boy had come to ask him this question. And he taught him the principle of making money. He taught him of how to find a job. He taught him of how to work and earn money. Taught him the principle of saving and investing. And from an early age of 12, this young boy started applying these principles. Years later, he's one of the richest men. And he said he wished he had known these things at age 8. He would have been one of the richest people. When young people don't think, the consequences are they make poor choices. For example, I learned a lesson from one of my young people who said he grew up in a family with very little resources. So one of the things he could never afford to do was give himself a second chance in exams, a second chance at opportunities, because one chance was all he had. If he failed the exam, the money to rewrite may never exist. And that attitude made him an excellent student, because he was thinking of the fact that I cannot fail, I must succeed. Every chance is my only chance and my last chance. Thinking helps you consider logically things. So before you write an exam, you think of the consequences. When you go to school, you think of the process. You think of the associations. You think of the networks. When you are given money, you think of how the money was earned, what the money has been given to you is to be useful. What else can you do with this money? If I remember very well, About 25 to 27 years ago, one of our classmates was given a student's loan. He used that loan to start an entrepreneurial business, whilst others were buying fans and shoes and clothes with their money. He was thinking. His parents were feeding him. He had a place to stay. But that thinking process set him up on an entrepreneurial journey. He was in the UPSC. I still remember that story. And he was in the first year of the university. What happened to this young boy? He learned the art of business. He failed as a student quite a number of times. He improved his craft. Gradually today, he's still in business. He's a household name, and he has made enough money and has years of work experience. Why the difference? He was thinking as a student. If you think about your finances, you think about your education, you think about your relationships, your networks and association, you think about your parents, you think about your future, it will affect your choices. A boy who spends 6 hours on the net, wasting time surfing, not learning a course or a skill, but just watching videos and watching statuses and laughing his head off. If such a boy or a girl is a thinker, you will know that 6 hours that have been lost can never be regained. And these 6 hours could have been converted into a skill or into knowledge. Once you think, there are certain things you wouldn't do. If friends call you and they entice you, let's go and steal, let's go and engage in certain vices young people are engaging in. Once you think, you wouldn't do it. You will look at the consequences of that action. I want to challenge you. Before you take a step from today in any area of your life, think of the effect of that choice 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. How productive is that activity? I'm making a video to be an encouragement for you today. It's because I was thinking, what do I use this time I have to do? I'm actually working, but I have set out time to be able to encourage one young person to use his or her time a little more productively. So basically what I have been sharing with you today is the power of thinking. You have a brain, use it. You find yourself where you are based on the thinking processes, thinking patterns that have existed in your mind. Take a book and read. Find people who are like-minded or superior in knowledge. Sit with them and find out what makes them succeed. If you pick your phone and your friends list are not among the rich, they are not among the societally powerful, they are not among the decision makers, then your associations are people who don't challenge you. Find associations of people who will challenge you to be much better than you are, improve your craft, and become all that God intended for you to be. Thank you so much for joining me today. Our message today has been, you have a brain, use it and think. My name is Hannah. Once again, subscribe to the YouTube channel Hannah Abrahams-Appiah. Press the notification bell. Anytime there's a new video, you will be notified. You could also go back and watch many of our other videos. They are very encouraging and educating. And leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much. God bless.